gangs are, then why put that in your name and kind of like represent that, or being trying to represent you?
No, I'm representing the aspects of growth and development. Certainly, I don't deny that. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that the gangs are good and the gangs are fit, but let's take a walk back in history, if you will. You may be too young to remember, but when I was coming up, and there's a lot of people here that do remember, drugs in the neighborhood was non-existent almost. Why? Because the gangs kept that out of there. The rape, the robbery, and so forth that you see happening now, it wasn't happening then. Why? Because the gangs shut that down. And they weren't called gangs at that time. The term gang did not begin until the University of Chicago experiment. And I wrote a copy, it's called 33 Pages. And you can read it for yourself. And it sets out how they conspired, they created the gang, they avoided the negative behavior. And when we was going through the neighborhoods, picking up the paper off the streets, sweeping the streets, they frowned on that. But when we started slashing car tires, knocking out windows, raping, robbing, we were rewarded, believe it or not. So what that did was it caused us to become conditioned to think that, hey, you ain't gonna get nothing if you do it good. You're gonna get everything if you do bad. So it gave us a false sense. And nobody holds nobody hands and make them do nothing. A lot of conditions are created that cause certain things, believe it or not. If those conditions did not prevail, those things would not happen. And Professor Hagedorn, I'm gonna leave a copy of 33 pages for you, the Chicago gang experiment that you can share with the students, especially this young lady here. Make sure she Any other questions?
Other questions? Yeah, back here.
Yeah. I'm glad you were blessed to give your dissertation, if that's the right word, or I'll say a history, but under the terminology of gangs. Gangs are a group of individuals that meet socially and regularly. There was a gang that was known as the Hamburgers. That was Mayor Daley's gang. He took his partners and they became police superintendents and police commissioners. When I read the newspaper today, how on the front page of Sun-Times, how a young guy can be on Rush Street, and because he bumped into a former gang member's relative, he gets beat to death and there's no investigation. That was no gangster disciple. That was no Blackstone Ranger. That was a member of David's family. Some of y'all can walk on Rush Street and you with your friends and you sit down and you talk, or you come out of a bar and you bump into somebody that's influential. You don't get locked up, they'll lock you up regardless of your color or your race. They'll lock you up because you have no juice and therefore you become a criminal. What y'all just witnessed in this last election was that we, myself, Mac, Hal, Baskin, and other unqualified braggers. In the 90s, we created something that's known as 21st century vote to take the anti-social behavior of violent gangs by letting them know that the ballot is more important than the bullet. The manifestation of that was the election of Barack Obama. This last election showed where we have, as a people, elevated to the point that the race or color of a candidate didn't make a difference, and therefore you now have Ron as your mayor-elect. For the young brothers and sisters that's here, and the brown brothers and sisters that's here, y'all know our community is targeted for it to be a group of us